now, more government legislation. There were recent delays to government legislation proposing a ban on energy drinks for under 18s.
Now, here to break down the buzz behind energy drinks is Dietitian Orla Walsh. Good morning to you, Orla. We're looking at all these cans in front of us. But first of all, so what happens to our body when we do consume a high energy drink like this?
Well, it depends what's in them, and they all do differ. So a lot of them have caffeine, and that's their big ingredient. And it's a central nervous system stimulator. So it makes all our nerves upregulate, and that can make our blood flow faster, our heart pump harder. But also, if we're a bit anxious, it's going to make us a bit more anxious.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're struggling to even control our thoughts, you know, when our head is racing, it's just going to make that worse.
And do you get a slump then? Because when that wears off, then do you feel a real slump?
I think you're lucky if you get a slump, because if you have this about closer to bedtime, so they say if you have this, try not to have it within 13 hours of going to bed, or else it'll affect your sleep.
13
hours. 13 hours. And that's not what people are doing. They might be having it at 3 p.m. and then wondering why they can't sleep then at night.
So what, like, these are all really well-known brands of energy drinks, essentially. So say what is, like, this is saying vitamins and taurine. What's in this energy drink?
And some of them are saying juice on it as well. So a lot of them have, like, caffeine and they have sugar. So this one in particular, it's equivalent to about 2 cups of coffee. But what's interesting is if you've got a sachet of sugar and you had 2 cups of coffee, imagine putting 6 teaspoons or 6 sachets of sugar into each one. It would be a lot of sugar. If you saw a friend do it, you would be agog. You would be taken aback.
This is the amount of sugar here that's in it.
Yes.
So there's about 6 sachets of sugar here.
There's 12 in this.
So if you...
Wow.
Right, so think about that. If you're at home and you're just pouring that into a pint glass and it's 12 sachets over and over again, and spoonfuls of sugar in.
Exactly, and the guidelines for sugar is we're trying to aim for less than 12 teaspoons a day. So it's your daily requirement in one hit. But the thing is, are people having one or are they having more?
Now, I know somebody who'd have about 4 to 5 of these a day when they're working right throughout the day. Yeah. What is that doing to their bodies?
Well, I suppose it's different things. It's definitely going to affect their sleep. And when we affect sleep, we affect all sorts of things, including, of course, energy levels, but what we eat the next day, how much we exercise, how we feel. But the sugar as well, we know that the higher free sugar intake we have, the more at risk we are of overweight and obesity.
So this is there a pile of sugar? Obviously, it gives you wings, man.
So 7 teaspoons, and there's about a cup of coffee or 2 cups of tea. And I guess because these are designed to taste really good, in the wrong hands, they can be actually fatal. Because if you can imagine, if there's 2 cups of coffee and 12 teaspoons of sugar here, if they taste good, a child might get them. They might drink one. They might go, that's really nice, to drink another.
Well, the packaging is fun, right?
The packaging is fun. It's enticing. And we do know, and a consultant spoke out about it last year, that 2 adults were taken into the Mater Hospital and having to resuscitate it because of energy drink consumption. So you can imagine then what it would have on the effect of a child. And this is why we need legislation. We're simply shouldn't be selling them to under 18s.
So, and is it where you'd have to produce an ID if you are trying to buy these in supermarkets or shops?
I would hope so, because unlike a cup of coffee, you could say, what, Orla, if that's 2 cups of coffee, they could go into a coffee shop. They would, but they're not going to scold them in the same way. They're not going to, it's bitter. It's not a sweet taste. They're not going to drink lots of them in one go. And they can then have been fatal. There has been cases worldwide over that.
So, OK. Right, you're talking about fatalities here of how and you're right, they're sculled. That's what they're for. It isn't just sipping a cup of coffee over an hour. So when you heard there was a government proposal to ban them for under 18s, I remember this got so much, everyone was talking about this. Yeah. When you heard that legislation was delayed, like much legislation with this government, were you kind of like, did it annoy you?
I was frustrated, to say the least, because it's about protecting the youth. And I suppose if we had legislation on it, it would bring awareness for parents that how bad they are. Because I'm sure parents are like, oh, they're not great, but they might liken them to fizzy drinks. Yeah. But they're not maybe aware of the caffeine content or the additional stuff in them. And a lot of them have extra vitamins, but they're vitamins we get plenty of. And we get so much of, we ate the majority of the ones we take in.
Because when you see, because I'm just looking here, like, so if you're not feeling great or if you're like a bit unwell, you sort of say to have a Lucozade. You know, like, remember,
Vitamin
like,
B3.
you bring in a bottle of Lucozade to somebody in hospital.
Oh yeah, my grandmother used to eat drink it by the band.
One of the grapes,
So why is Lucozade alert here? What's so bad about this?
Well, most of them contain around 32 milligrams of caffeine per 100 grams or 100 mils, but they're different size cans. So again, if you even see how they tell you how much caffeine's in it, it's unclear for most of them. This is the only one that says actually there's 200 milligrams of caffeine in this one, and
so this is Celsius.
And there's no sugar in that one, but 200 milligrams is a lot of caffeine, and it is more than the others. But again, if you're kind of going, okay, there's 32 milligrams per 100 mils, how much am I drinking? You would actually have to go, times by 3.55. You know, they make it hard, I feel, to understand how much caffeine's within them.
We had a woman get it, because you don't think, I'm sorry, I don't think about it, a cup of coffee. I know it's meant to be bad, but you don't think of it as actually the heart rate and all that kind of stuff. A woman got in contact when we were talking about this, I think about a year ago, and she worked in a shop, and she was like, little 5 and 6 year olds would come up buying an energy drink, and she'd refuse them. Yeah. And she'd like, some parents would get really annoyed at me. I'm like, I'm not selling that to your child.
Yeah.
So it is all about perception of knowing that you can't be giving these to young people. Like young kids, 5 years old.
I know, it's just about awareness, because if we even look at colas contain as much caffeine as a cup of tea. And they're, so you see them at birthday parties with really tiny little humans all the time. And parents are wondering, gosh, they never sleep after a birthday party. And it could be the caffeine in the cola that they're drinking at the birthday party. But they pale in comparison to the caffeine in these guys.
Okay. So trying what? Milk, water?
Milk, water. There's nothing
wrong
with
tea. You're not a buzzkill. Come on, Orla, what can they have?
What can they have?
There's nothing wrong with tea and coffee if you're an adult, but really under 18s, we just have to play it safe. We don't know how they will respond to caffeine. Caffeine is technically a drug, and we must treat it as so.
Dietitian Orla Walsh, as always, thank you so much. And wait until you see us after 9. We're going to scold. I'm joking.
No, we're not.
I'm joking. We'll be back with you very shortly.
See you in a few minutes.
We won't.